Ladies and gentlemen, fight fans all around the world, let's talk some boxing. Now, I did a little series on, examining Floyd Mayweather versus Jose Luis Castillo, the first fight. It was a two-part series. And I just want to examine in more detail now the CompuBox punch stats for that fight that HBO showed on the telecast. We're going to compare them with the punch stats that I have. Now, I'm doing this because of one of our subscribers, Pinchway. He was the guy that referred, he said, Floyd Mayweather, he won the early parts of the fight, and that's why he believed that Floyd Mayweather won the fight. But I want to show some information based on the punch stats from HBO Sports. Please go subscribe to HBO Boxing. These picture clips are from HBO Sports, and all credit is given to them. This is not for promotional purposes, but solely for the purpose of education according to the Fair Use Act. Let's move into it. So if you look right now, you can see the punch stats from round 1 through round 6 according to HBO Sports punch stats. You can go do your own punch stats, okay? And in doing so, you can see that Castillo started off slow and he started gaining momentum. And according to them, according to the HBO Sports punch stats, he actually doubled Floyd Mayweather's score by round 6. Now, let me give you the cumulative punch stats through rounds 1 to 6. According to their punch stats, when you add up those numbers, Castillo had 67 punches and Mayweather had 73 punches, which is 6 more punches than Castillo. Through round 8, according to them, they're going with cumulative scores now. Castillo had 110 punches and Mayweather had 95 punches at the end of round 8 that landed, cumulated. That means that Castillo landed 43 punches between round 6 and round 8, whereas Mayweather landed 22 punches. That's on average. Castillo landed 22 punches a round and Mayweather 11 punches a round. When we look at the cumulative score through round 10, it says that Jose Luis Castillo at that point in time landed 151 punches, whereas Mayweather landed 24 punches. Between round 8 to round 10, Castillo landed 21 punches per round, whereas Mayweather landed 15 punches per round. And basically, Castillo landed 41 punches between round 8 to round 10, and Mayweather landed 29 punches. Okay? At the end of the fight, it said that Jose Luis Castillo landed 203 punches, whereas Floyd Mayweather had landed 157 punches. That means Castillo landed 52 punches between rounds 10 and 12, whereas Mayweather landed 33 punches. That's an average of 26 punches per round for Castillo and 17 punches per round for Mayweather. Now, on inspection, when I was looking at my data, I realized that HBO actually had roundabout the same ballpoint figures for Mayweather, except up to the end of the fight. So when I checked, I verified what they were doing. Between round 6 and round 8, I had a different score. Between round 6 to round 8, I had Mayweather's score. He landed 31 punches to the 22 punches that they claimed he landed. And Castillo landed 24, not 43 punches. And that makes sense. I believe they made a mistake and inverted the actual landing punches at the end of 8 rounds, because clearly Castillo was slowing down in round 7 and 8. Castillo actually slowed down, and that's why he was penalized for hitting on the brake. He was actually slowing down, and I think in those rounds, somewhere around there, he was hitting Floyd to his back because he was frustrated. He wasn't landing the punches he wanted to. So I think somewhere along the line they mixed that stuff up. But then moving on, between rounds 8 and 10, obviously, Castillo did outland Floyd Mayweather Jr. and they got that right. Floyd did land 15 punches per round, which is basically 30 punches between 8 and 10. But Castillo didn't land 41 punches. I don't know why they get these figures so wrong. It was a very close fight all the way through. He actually landed 34 punches, which is 17 punches per round, and Mayweather had 15 punches per round. They got the stats for Mayweather correct, but apparently for Castillo they got him slightly off. Okay? In the final 2 rounds, between rounds 10 to 12, which would be round 11 and 12, they sort of got it correct, more or less. Castillo landed 21 punches per round versus 26 punches per round they had. And Mayweather had 23 punches per round versus 17 punches per round. Basically, it was very competitive. The championship rounds between these guys was very competitive. They were going kind of toe for toe, punch for punch. And once again, their CompuStats were a little bit off. Overall, I had Mayweather outlanding Castillo only by 8 punches. It was a close fight, as you can see down below. And so, once again, their final CompuStats and my final CompuStats varied significantly because they gave Castillo a huge amount of punches where I just didn't see it. I just didn't see where Castillo landed all those punches. And on top of that, I think they switched the information. They flipped the information, and that's the reason why they got their punch stats so distorted. And I think it happened, like I said, in the 8th round, where they awarded Castillo Floyd Mayweather's punch stats, and they awarded Floyd Mayweather Castillo's punch stats. And I think everything went zany from there on in. So that's why you got that big marginal difference. Whereas it was a close fight between Mayweather and Castillo. Mayweather did outland Castillo, but it was not in power punches. And that's where, again, I agree with them. I had Castillo outlanding Mayweather in power punches significantly. Their punch stats would be a little bit off because they awarded Castillo what was Mayweather's and awarded Mayweather's what was Castillo's. But in short, I have it a little closer. It's 93 to 134 power punches. Castillo outlanding Mayweather by that. And as you can see there, Mayweather outlands Castillo in jabs. So if they just could get that, and notice they did not put the jabs up for their CompuBox, their stats. And again, it's probably because when they try to look at the jabs, the numbers don't add up. And the reason the numbers won't add up to their total punches is because I think they inverted in round 8 Mayweather's punch stats with Castillo's punch stats. So that's why everything went zany and off course. Round 7 and 8, which would have been the cumulative score, that's where they made their mistake. So by doing a verification check, you can see why they got what they got. And if you just flip round 8 and give it to Castillo and you keep on going, you'll see that, yeah, Castillo seems to outland Mayweather all the way through. And you get that wider margin of difference because of flipping certain punch stats. Okay? So I think that was their major problem. If they didn't flip the punch stats, they probably would have gotten something like, it would have been much closer. It was a close fight. And again, I don't blame anyone if says Castillo did enough to retain his title. I could see that. It was that close a fight. Now, of course, it depends on who you gave the rounds to. You know, again, you can argue a case that Mayweather won round 4. So it could have been a 9-3 fight, you know, because the fight was close. Of course, you ask yourself certain questions to see, you know, what's really going on in that fight. Some critical questions, and then you would know who actually won it. As far as I'm concerned, Mayweather won at 8-4. But I can easily see how somebody can say Castillo retained his belt. He at least drew the fight. So that's why it was a close fight. You know what I mean? So that's my take on it again. For those people who say Castillo won that fight, you know what? I can see what you're saying. I can see what you're saying. All right. So those people who definitely say Castillo, he retained his title, I could see that as well. I could see that as well. But if you say that Floyd Mayweather won that fight and he won it outright, I could see that as well because he did win every single round that he did win. You know, the problem with that is the rounds were still close. They were close rounds, and that's the reason why even though he might have, beat Castillo 8 rounds to 4 or 9 rounds to 3. Each round that he won wasn't by much. You know what I mean? So that's why it was a close fight as far as I'm concerned. It was competitive. So you guys have a great day. Again, I just wanted to follow up on this because Pinchway, he raised a point. Again, I did all these stats. My stats are pretty sound. I took a lot of time to do them. And I just wanted to point out the little error in the CompuBox stats from HBO. No, all credit to HBO, but I think they messed it up in round 8. And that's why they got their punch stats that they did. All right, you guys, have a great day.